the day, are we not? And that is that children aged between 12 and older can now get COVID-19 vaccination jabs. Dr. Angelique, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, brilliant. um, Good news, big news, though there is a sector of the community who are totally against the issue around the 12 to 17-year-olds being vaccinated. So let's start with the first question first, and that is good news as far as the vaccine being available for 12 to 17-year-olds.
Yes, it is good news because we need to understand that the vaccines would benefit the children, or the children that will benefit the most from these vaccines now available for this age group, is children who are suffering from chronic diseases, kidney problems, immune diseases. They are the children that we actually need to protect. Because if they get COVID-19, the chances that they will have severe COVID-19 are highly increased. And, if they get admitted, they also have a higher chance of dying from COVID-19, looking in context of their chronic diseases. So the other group that is also important to understand that they also need to benefit from this is your grade 11 and grade 12s that need to write their exams. They need to finish school. They need to carry on with their lives. And then you also would like your grade 7s to proceed from grade 7 up to grade 8. And it is a huge problem.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. It just sounded like there was an interruption on your side. Okay, so having said that, vaccinating this age group will potentially add around 6 million additional people to the country's vaccination program. And the Department of Health said that it hoped to vaccinate at least half of this age group by the start of the school holidays. Is this doable?
I don't think it's doable. I think they are they put the barometer too high. And I think at least if we can just say that we can, have as much as possible, we can get 1 million, that would be great. Also remember, the moment when you say that you can only vaccinate the children with certain comorbidities, as well as your grade 11 and grade 12, then you will have a lot of other parents saying that why are you discriminating against my child that's not sick but also would like to take the vaccine. So that's from a logistic point of view, it doesn't make any sense to say you will only vaccinate these children. So you'd rather throw it open, and then those children that don't want to be vaccinated, it's fine, they don't have to. And those that are not sick but want to be vaccinated, it's also fine. They can have a choice. But it's more for children who are suffering from comorbidities, and as I've said, the final year learners.
Okay. Recently, possibly as far back as either 4 to 6 weeks ago, here in South Africa, the Department of Health undertook a study, a group of young people in a certain age group. There was a vaccination trial that was run. Have we opened up vaccination of the 12 to 17-year-olds based on the reports of that trial, suggesting that the trial proved to be successful?
No, it's got nothing to do. It's got nothing to do with that trial. That trial data is not even available yet.
Are we, Dr. Coetzee, are we being not too overly optimistic to go ahead with vaccinating this age group without knowing what the results of that trial is going to tell us?
Well, we know that in the United States and some of the European countries, they've already started vaccinating children above the age of 12. So those studies are out there with Pfizer. So we don't need new studies on the Pfizer vaccine. It's already there. We would
So what-
however, to see what
Yeah.
is happening in South African context, but those studies are out there.
So what trial was that for? What vaccine was that trial being run? If it was not Pfizer, was it J&J?
No, are you talking currently? The Pfizer vaccine is not a trial. So the
No,
Pfizer
I know, I do know, I'm aware that the current vaccination for the 12 years and older is totally open, you have just indicated, has got nothing to do with that trial which started 6 weeks ago. I'm asking the question, the trial that was being run, which vaccine was being trialed on those children?
It's one of the Chinese vaccines that they are using on those on the children, and it's a small study. I think it's
Okay.
2,000 children that they earmarked for that study. But we have no data on that study, and they're still busy with that.
All right, fine. So we're going ahead here with our 12 to 17-year-olds with the 1-dose Pfizer vaccine. I know that for the I think 35-year and older, if they opt to take the Pfizer vaccine, they get 2 doses. Why is the kids being given 1 dose only? Is it adequate enough for them?
So if you look at the United States, what they are doing, they give 2 dosages of Pfizer for the children between 12 and 15 years of age. I'm not sure why SAPRA decided on only 1 dosage for in the South African context. I presume they are looking into see what the outcomes of this would be, and hopefully they will, if there's breakthrough infections, go for the 2nd dosage as what they are doing in other countries.
Okay, we also understand that there are a group of people who refuse to have their children vaccinated, or the youngsters themselves have made the decision that they will not be vaccinated. We know that different university campuses as well, that the SRCs and the young people there are refusing to go for the vaccine, for whatever reason, for whatever studies or information gathering they have done. But the one thing that stands out for me are those parents who are suggesting that why is the Department of Health giving young people the choice to make the decision? Should it not be driven by the parents themselves?
Well, our Act regulation under the Children's Act says that from the age of 12, the child can decide for him or herself regarding whether it's vaccinations, whether it's medical interventions. That's already been in place since 2005. So, if a parent wants to interfere with a child that's 21 years of age, it's not a child anymore. That's an individual that have full, can decide for themselves. So I'm not sure why parents should get involved with the universities. I can still see that some parents might be worried if the child is 12 or 13 years of age. But again, if the child wants to be vaccinated, there's nothing that we cannot tell the child that can't vaccinate you because your mother or father doesn't want you to be vaccinated. Because it falls under the Children's Act. So, and vice versa. So, again, that is should actually be the choice of the child, and the parents needs to set an example by getting themselves vaccinated, and then speak with their children around vaccinations. But in the end of the day, unfortunately, there's an act. I'm not saying
right. No, I know about the Children's Act, and it worries me, I must be quite honest. My personal opinion, it does worry me that we allow the child to make the choice, even if the parents don't agree, but that's another matter completely. Let's just take a message from a caller question. The caller is Samia Badat, and the question goes as follows. Are you saying that we will be giving our children these vaccinations without any data of past experiences or side effects, etc.? Another caller responds by saying the kids are being experimented on. And another caller, I'm just trying to push in as much as I possibly can because we are running out of time. It's one thing for us to get vaccinated because there is enough data for adults, but the fact that there's no data for our kids, that's unacceptable. So I've thrown a couple of questions at you, Dr. Coetzee.
Okay. So the data is there on the children. The data is unfortunately there. As I've said, United States got the data and some of the European countries got the data. So the data is there on the Pfizer. And because we're talking about Pfizer and that as that one that the children is going to get, the data is there. That's not and we can't speak on past experience because no one has ever been vaccinated 2 or 3 years ago. So they can't be past experience. That's difficult, but I think I understand what the caller wants. To say it is a current experience, and again, there's enough data on that to say it's safe for the children. Most of these children, the side effects that they were asking us about is more or less the same than for adults. The FDA looked at data for more than 2,200 United States children ages 12 to 50 who were given, half of them, more than half were given the Pfizer vaccines and the other were given a placebo. And the studies also clearly show in those children that the ones who got the Pfizer vaccine, none was hospitalized, while around about 16 cases of the others has been diagnosed and hospitalized.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Always a pleasure to talk to you, Dr. Angelique Coetzee, Chairperson for the South African Medical Association. Thank you indeed for your time. And before we move on to our final interview for the morning, Bronwyn Conway, we hear you loudly and clearly. You are saying we're responsible for our varsity-going children. Who do you think pays the students' medical bills? They don't. Parents do, 101%. She also goes on to say, have you looked at the adverse effects cases that are listed on VAERS, VAERS? Do you take that data into account? Okay, doctors offline, but undoubtedly they have received all of these type of questions as well. But we can revisit this as the days go by. Thank you indeed for your input, dear listeners. Do appreciate it indeed. It is exactly 9:54 a.m.